Okay, I want to go over a review for the Chapter 6, and we're using the Form 1. And I'm going to start off here with number 1.
How come that thing's there?
Just leave it alone. That's the stop. We're trying to find the sum of the measures of the interior angles, all right? And remember, we used the formula of n minus 2 times 180, and n being the number of sides. So all you got to do is plug this into here, and you'll find your answer of a B. All right, the next one, find the sum of the measures of the exterior angles of a convex, all right, 21. So you know that all the exterior angles added together is going to be 360 degrees, okay? Next one, it says find the interior angle of a regular polygon is 108. So we know that 108 is going to equal to n minus 2, the number of sides, which is an unknown, all right? And so all we got to do is cross multiply and to distribute this, and then you'll solve for n, and you'll find out that n is going to be, in this case right here, 72. Next one, number 4, we have a parallelogram, and we know that on a parallelogram, the opposite sides are congruent, which means they are going to be equal. So we just said 3x plus 20 equals 5x minus 12, and you just can do the algebra yourself. Next, on number 5, the property of a parallelogram. Notice it says that the diagonals are congruent. Well, that's true for rectangles. It also says that the diagonals bisect the angles. Well, that's true for a rhombus. The diagonals are perpendicular. That's true for a rhombus. Diagonals bisect each other. Yes, that is something that would be the right answer. Okay. Next, for number 6. Number 6, remember this is a parallelogram, which means that both of these sides are parallel. Opposite sides are parallel. Therefore, 24, the alternate interior angles, 24 will equal 4x. And then you just solve, divide 4 to that, and you'll get your 6. Next, over here, you know that this side, this angle is going to be congruent to this angle, which means that y minus 10 is going to equal to 32, and you just solve that, and you'll be able to find your answer for that way. Next, we have, what is this right here? The value of x is quadrilateral. All right, so we know that the opposite angles are congruent on a quadrilateral that is a parallelogram. Therefore, it's got to be 46. Parallelogram. Next one is, now we're trying to find the missing coordinate right here of a parallelogram. What I did is to go ahead and plot this. Here's our A point, and I go over here to B, and then we go from B, we go over to C. Oh, here we go. So to find out, make sure we find the missing point, all we got to do is know that this slope is 0. Therefore, we got to have a slope here, which means the x part is going to be, the y part is going to be 0. And we take the distance from 2 to 10, which is 8. So we go from 0 to 8, and there's our answer. Next, on number 9, which of the following properties of rectangle are true for all? Notice that 4 congruent sides, that's got to be a square. Diagonals bisect the angles, that's got to be a rhombus or a square. But we're talking about rectangles, right? So the diagonals are perpendicular, and that's a square or a rhombus. So D is going to be our answer. Number 10, we have a rectangle with diagonals, all right? And we know from rectangles, we found that somewhere up in here earlier, here we go, that diagonals are going to be congruent. So all we got to do is set these two right here to equal. 2x plus 10 is going to equal to 56, and you can solve and find the answer. Next, we're trying to find the missing coordinate A of a rectangle. So we start over here at a minus 5, 0. Then we go over to 7, 7, 0. All right, and we go up here to 7, 3. So we know that we're going to, first, this is a slope of 0. So to have a slope of 0, we'd have to go out this way, right? And also the distance from a 7 to a 5. So it's got to be this point right over here of a minus 5, 3. All right? Now, let's go to the second page. Second page, we find the rhombus here, find the angle 1. We know that the diagonals of a rhombus are perpendicular. So that's easy. Perpendicular angles are 90 degrees. Next, we have a, find this angle, here we go right here, this angle right here of a square. And we know that the square is going to have right angles, all right angles, right? And we know because the square is a rhombus that they're going to bisect, so it's got to be 45. Okay, next is choose a pair of base angles of a trapezoid ABC. You could either say this BDC or AB, all right? But you know that these two right here are not listed, so it's got to be this answer right here, which is going to be J in this case. Now we got to find angle D. Oh, here we go, angle D. And you notice that these two lines are parallel. This is cut by transversal, so this angle E and D are supplementary, so you just take 180 and subtract 136, and you'll get your answer. Now, we have a car. The hood's shaped like a trapezoid, and you've got one part is 30, one part is 24. So all you got to do to find the medium part right here, you add the sum of these together, which is 50, and then you divide that by 2, and that will give you your answer. Next, for 17, we have the base of a trapezoid is 44. Oh, remember that the base is going to be equal to the two bases added together. Will sum divided by 2 will equal to the median. So if we said the median is going to be, that makes this right here double that, which is going to be 72, will equal to the sum of these right here, and you just solve for your x. And this right here is following true, which is exactly what we just solved. This is the formula we use to solve these two other problems right up here above us, all right? Where we take the two bases, add them together, and divide it by the sum of those, divided by 2, and that'll tell you what the median is. Now we have a kite. Remember that these two, Q and S, are going to be equal, all right? Are going to be congruent. So all we have to do is add these two together, and we'll get a number, 160. Subtract that from 360, since it's a quadrilateral. It's got 360 degrees, which you get 200. So then you got to divide that by 2, and each one of those angles is going to be 100. All right. Next, we have a kite. Remember, the kite diagonals are perpendicular. So all we're just doing now is using Pythagorean theorem to find JM, this side over here. All right. 8 squared plus 5 squared is going to equal to JM squared. And you got your conclusion there. Now, this is a nice little problem here about the bonus. They want to find, what angle we want here? Y. We want to find this angle right up here, all right? We know that this is a rhombus, and these angles right here bisect, okay? And we know that this is a 90 degree because the diagonals are also perpendicular. So that means that these two angles added together will equal to 90 degrees. And now all we have to do then is to do a factoring job, all right? So we bring the 90 over to here, that makes that to a 70, and then we defactor it, so we know that the products of both 7 times 10, 7 times 10 is going to be 70, so you have a minus, but do you want the difference of it? You want to make a positive 3, and so therefore, you can't have an x equals to a minus 10, because that would be a negative number, so that one won't work. So only this one right here will work, and from that, you take that 7, place it back in here, you got a 3 times 7 plus 20 is going to be 2141. All right, so that's how you solve those.